Josh asks, there's another WWF question, really. What are your thoughts on Bruce Prichard? How does his views on the wrestling business differ from your views on the wrestling business, and do you get along with him? Was he supportive of you in the WWF?
Initially, yes. When I was there, I have very stark memories of both 90, 91, and then the 95. Bruce, I interviewed Tom Prichard, who I consider a dear friend, about 6 months ago, maybe a little bit longer, and was asking him, because Bruce is so ebullient and outgoing and talkative, and Tom's he'll talk with us and stuff, but it's like you got to work a lot harder to have a conversation with Tommy. And I asked him, because him being in the ring, and he said that his brother always wanted to go that direction. He never really felt comfortable in the ring wrestling, and whereas Tommy, much more wanted to be in the ring and eschewed the idea of being in the office. I always talk about the WWF and E in these terms. To go there and survive there and then thrive there, you have to change somewhat, because it's just such a, I think in this recent loss, you can see there's a whole culture there that you're not going to get up to that second or third or fourth level if you're not morphing into that culture, which means being accepting of it, I guess, or turning an eye to it or whatever. But when the first I remember meeting to get to know Bruce was right before he got married. And the reason that sticks out in my head was because the woman that he married was an assistant to one of the photographers. Very, very good looking lady. Bless her. I apologize. I can't remember her name. And we would talk quite often because at this time, the Shane Douglas in 1990-91, there was no real direction as to what we were going to do with that character other than they gave me an opportunity. It wasn't like they said, okay, we're going to bring you in and make you this or that or a franchise or a dean. It was just, we're going to give you a chance. And while I was there, Vince had come up with the idea, and Bruce is the one that brought this to me, that because I had dabbled with songwriting and I played bass and lyrics and all of that. And Jimmy Hart had written these songs, and Vince wanted to see if he could produce a legit rock star. And Bruce was, as I recall, the one that brought that to me, and all excited. This is what Vince wants to do. This is the vision he has. Jimmy Hart's writing songs now. So there was that side of that. Now, I haven't known Bruce personally since then. I mean, obviously say hello to him and see him whenever I see him. But I would say me and Tom are a lot closer as far as, see him today, we'd pick up, we'd have a 2-hour conversation. This is not a criticism, because again, like some like vanilla, some like chocolate. When you see the stuff that the WWF has done, as fans know, I'm not a big fan of that sports entertainment style. Obviously, a lot of other fans do love it. So I would say that Bruce and I were friendly, but I never had any reason to have any, goings on with him for some time. But when we see each other, there's always a little conversation, a lot of that kind of thing. But I'll wrap up with this, to go there and especially into the belly of that beast and be able to stay there that long and succeed at it. And, the waves up and down, he's booking now, and then he's not, and then he's doing something else, and he's not, he's on camera, and he's not, to be able to do that and sit through there takes an awful lot of spine, just to tolerate that, and I imagine, again, before we've been hearing about this recent lawsuit, imagine being privy to that. And I would guess that my knowledge of Bruce, father now and, husband and everything, is that I found him to be far more traditional in that sense than, say, other people were in some of the allegations based in this lawsuit. So he somehow has figured out the way to be there in the belly of that beast and keep his head above that water line and somehow not getting it chopped off. So he's figured out something a lot of us haven't been able to figure out up there, or some of us don't want to figure it out.
You at the beginning of that, when you started the question, you said he was supportive at first. Is this just the first run, and you didn't really speak to him the second run, or what were your relationships with Bruce during the Dean Douglas era?
Very little. There was remember, I was only on, I think, there collectively for like 6 months in the Dean run. And I think the first 2.5 months was just flying up on Sundays, which of course he would not be at the studio. He was off. And then I would see him at, I wasn't even always at every TV taping. I was at like sporadic. We need you here. We need you there. So I don't recall having a ton of interaction with Bruce in '95, other than, like I said, a few TVs here and there. And again, even in those, it would just be the same type of relation. Hey, Bruce, how you doing? What's up, Shane? Just like the passing things. I had very little reason to ever interact with him and go say, hey, I have a problem with this or that. That's stuff I would go straight to Vince with. Let me think who else was there at that time. But yeah, it was not a whole lot. And I didn't mean to imply like less later. I just think less interaction later. There was less time, for our characters to cross angles.